I still remember the night Ngozi came back from the city. Her mother ran to hug her. But when she touched her, she screamed. She said Ngozi was cold, too cold to be alive. I grew up in a small village in southeastern Nigeria. The kind of place where everyone knows who fetched water last. And when the goats gave birth, half of the village comes to watch. Life was simple, hard, but simple. Ngozi was one of us. Poor, quiet, always neat even when her clothes were old. Her dreams was big. She wanted to go to school in the city. She always said she'd become a nurse so she could take care of her mother who had a bad leg. Her father tapped palm wine. Her mother sold firewood. Sometimes Ngozi would skip meals to save money for books. She used to come by my house to study with my younger sister. She was smart. Everyone said so. But no matter how smart she was, school in the city needed money. And money was something her family didn't have. Then one hot afternoon, a man came in from the city. He drove a shiny car and wore perfume that smelled like sugar. He was our mother's cousin. Though none of us had met him before, he called himself Uncle Peter. He said he'd take Ngozi to the city, said he'd pay her school fees and help her find a better life. Her parents cried tears of joy. The pastor even came to bless her journey. Everyone in the village gathered that morning when the car came to pick her up. She hugged her mother and promised to come back as a nurse. We waved as the car drove off. The dust swallowed her, and that was the last we saw of her for a long time. Months passed, then a year. No letters, no visits, no phone calls. Her mother went from smiling every day to sitting by the roadside every evening, staring at the path Ngozi took. She'd say, "She'll come back. My daughter will come back." Then one night, about a year and 2 months later, Ngozi did come back. It was around 9 p.m. The power was out. The only light came from people's kerosene lamps. Someone shouted a name from the road, and half of the village ran out. It was really her, but something was wrong. She looked thinner, but not in the way poor people look thin. Her skin was pale, almost grey. Her eyes were large and dull. She didn't smile, didn't even blink much. She was wearing a bright yellow dress, a city dress, and no shoes. Her feet were dirty, but not dusty, like she'd been walking in a wet sand. When her mom ran to hug her, she screamed. She said Ngozi's body was freezing cold, like a body from the river. Ngozi didn't say a word. She just stared at her mother for a long time, then slowly turned back and walked into their hut. Everyone was confused. Her father thanked God she was back, but her mother kept whispering, "This is not my daughter." That night, they said Ngozi didn't sleep. She sat in the corner, staring at the wall. When her father told her to eat, she didn't move. When her mother touched her, Ngozi hissed low like a snake. The next morning, word spread across the village. People came to see her. Some said she had gone mad. Others said maybe she was possessed. The pastor came to pray. When he entered the hut, Ngozi's eyes rolled back white and she started laughing. But the laugh didn't sound human. It was slow, deep, and hollow. The pastor began to pray louder, but Ngozi suddenly stopped laughing, turned her head sharply, and said, "You cannot pray me out." The pastor dropped his Bible. Her parents fell to their knees crying. The pastor told them to fast and pray. That evening, her father sent for me. He knew I was close to Ngozi before she left, and he thought maybe I could speak to her. I wish I never went. The sun was going down when I got there. The air was cold, unusually cold for our village. Inside the hut, it smelled like something damp. Ngozi sat in the corner again, her eyes fixed on a crack in the wall. I said, "Ngozi, it's me, Ada. Don't you remember me?" No answer. Then she turned slowly, and I swear her eyes looked black, like her pupils had swallowed all the white. She smiled, but it wasn't her smile. I took a step back. "Ada," she said quietly, "do you still want to go to the city?" Her voice was strange, like two people speaking at once, one soft and one deep. Before I could answer, she leaned forward. "If you do, I can take you, but you won't come back the same." I ran out of the hut screaming. That night, Ngozi disappeared. Her parents said they heard her get up and walk outside. They followed, but she was gone. Only her yellow dress was left hanging on a stick near the river. The water was still, not even a ripple. Her mother screamed her name until her voice broke. The next morning, elders gathered. They said maybe Ngozi had been used by her uncle for something dark. Maybe money ritual, maybe juju. But others said what came back that night wasn't Ngozi at all. They poured libation by the river and buried the yellow dress. A few weeks later, the uncle came. He came back to the village, acting shocked. He said Ngozi ran away in the city. She had searched everywhere, but the elders didn't believe him. That night, the uncle's car refused to start. When he opened the bonnet, his snake crawled out. He left before dawn and never came back. Now, years later, people still talk about Ngozi. Sometimes during Harmattan, when the fog is thick and the air is cold, women fetching water say they see her by the river. She stands there in her yellow dress, brushing her hair and humming a soft tune. Once a boy said he saw her reflection in the water, even though no one was standing there. And some nights, when the moon is full, dogs bark all night towards the river. The old people say that that's when Ngozi walks through the village, looking for the cousin who took her. I don't know if that's true, but I know what I saw that day and what I heard. Ngozi's voice still rings in my head. Do you still want to go to the city? I can take you, but you won't come back the same way.